Technique 1, Royalty Dori. I'm going to stand opposite my partner. Uki is going to grab both wrists, thumbs up the way like this. As he steps forward, he's going to strike me with his knee. I take a step back, turning my hips out towards the side. Using my right hand, I'm going to turn it over and release the hand against his thumb. Draw it back up to the side of my ear and strike him anywhere round about the head and neck area with whatever is close. If I'm at this distance, then I'll strike with the bottom of my forearm. If I'm out further, strike with the hand. Afterwards, I'm going to rotate this hand in a clockwise direction, up, keeping the elbow close to the body, rotate his hand over, so that the muscles in the forearm begin to twist. I'm going to take my right hand, put my thumb in towards my partner's thumb, and wrap my fingers round, using my pinky at the bottom of his wrist joint here as a fulcrum point. From here, again, I release this hand against the thumb, take a hold of the forearm. Now as I start to apply the wrist lock, what's going to happen is I'm going to turn this wrist over and cut it down through the centre line, whilst at the same time rotating this hand back in this direction, so that both the hand and the forearm are being twisted in opposite directions. Step forward into my partner's space, forcing him down, maintaining good posture, good balance, whilst at the same time destroying my partner's balance. Relax your elbow. Yeah. I pull this back and I draw this in. So I'm cutting this hand in, down, so right the way down through his centre line. So we're in here and I cut. If your partner shoots his leg out like Stephen done there, you know you've applied the lock properly. Now, as every technique is done from both sides, we're going to do them all from the left side and from the right side, or the right side and the left side. So this time, exactly the same thing happens. Stephen holds, he's going to step forward, he's going to knee me with this knee. Again, up, strike, rotate the wrist, take hold of the wrist and allow the hand to go into the forearm. Begin to rotate as I step into the lock. Force my partner back down, rotate in towards him and apply the lock. Technique number 2, Hidari Iridori. So this time what's going to happen, my partner's going to grab my collar, my left collar, with his right hand. As he does, he pushes forwards. So as he pushes me forwards, I take a step to the side in order to maintain my posture. At the same time, I'm going to trap my partner's wrist. So if we start from the beginning again, he pushes, I trap his wrist, thus pulling him off balance. So if you can see Stephen's balance is destroyed, well at the same time mine's is still maintained. I bring my hand over again, I strike him anywhere around the head and face area. If possible, I like to strike the back of the hand onto the bridge of the nose in order to open up the tear ducts. That gives me the opportunity to be able to apply the next part of my technique and causes mental distraction. So once I've done my strike, I'm going to bring my hand over, I'm going to place the back of my thumb onto my partner's, in between my partner's thumb and forefinger. Rotate my fingers over the back, then using my whole body from my heels to my hips to my shoulders, I then rotate my partner over and I go into the same direction that they're then facing. Using this section with my thumb and forefinger, I apply it onto the back of his elbow here where the tricep tendon sits, and I take a step forward because he's off balance in this direction and draw him down onto the ground. Immediately force my knee into the back of his armpit, and then bring my other hand down here, my other knee down here, whilst at the same time keeping my hand on this back part of his arm. I then rotate this hand back in, again as if you're trying to cut down your partner's centre. So here. Right, same thing again, Hidari Iridori, but from the opposite side. So obviously, your partner now changes hands, so he's now grabbing with the left hand onto your right collar. So really it should be Migi Iridori, but as it's Hidari Iridori to the opposite side, technique 2 to the opposite side, we'll continue calling it Hidari Iridori. So my partner grabs, as he does, he steps. Again, I step back on the opposite leg this time, pull my partner off balance, I strike anywhere. I bring my hand over, so this hand comes over into this little pocket of muscle in between the thumb and the forefinger. I place my thumb. My bottom finger goes over to the back. In this area here, I want my pinky right at this fulcrum point, and then wrap the other fingers around this part of the hand. So he's here, strike. I'm going to use my shoulder to up and rotate over so that I'm facing in the direction that I want my partner to go, and the one that is off balance. My hand comes onto the back to the tricep tendon, and then I take him down. As I do, both knees in, rotate this in this direction, so that the elbow joint's being rotated in this direction, the hand's being rotated in that direction. Okay, technique number 3, Migi Iridori. What's going to happen, my partner takes a hold of my collar here, as he takes a step back there, he's going to pull me as if to pull me off balance. So come forward, do the same thing again. So this time, as he pulls me back, I'm going to trap his hand onto my body, so I've got a hold of him on the kit, and I'm going to strike him into the solar plexus. Then the next thing, I'm going to push down against this point in his wrist, thus breaking the grip. Rotate his hand over and place both my thumbs on the back of his wrist joint. Now, in order to be able to do the throw, you've got to think in a spherical way. So the hand comes over this way and then over this way. So if you imagine like a football in his hand here, I'm taking him this way and then this way. Okay, so I'll start again. So he's in this position, he's taking a hold of me, he steps forward, strike, draw, throw. After you've effected the throw, this hand comes through and takes a hold at the back of the hand. Take a step around and drop the back of his hand onto the mat. Your left hand then goes back onto the back of his tricep and force his tricep down onto the ground in order to bring his hips up off the mat, trapping him in place. Okay, we'll do Hadari Iridori to the opposite side now. So what's going to happen, my partner takes a hold of my kit by the opposite side. As he steps forward, I'm trapping, striking. Now do this trap and strike all at the same time. So step forward against him. So you grab, trap and strike at the same time. Now I'm going to again, using this point on the back of his thumb, where his thumb meets his forearm, I'm going to squeeze this down and rotate the hand in this direction so it's soft. Now, rather than do the big break fall, generally, most people are just going to go down with the pressure on the wrist, so that's exactly what we're going to do this time. The hand's going to go into the back here, so both my thumbs are on the back of my partner's wrist. I rotate it in towards him, then over in this direction. So go in, out. My partner rolls down again. It's exactly the same thing to the opposite side. Your left hand comes through onto the back of their wrist. Going this way. I turn around here. Place the back of his palm, the back of his wrist on the mat, take the back of my hand onto the back of his tricep and roll him up so that his hips come off the mat, thus trapping him in position. Okay, technique number 4, Kata Udidori. So what's going to happen, I'm walking along the street, as I take a step forward, somebody comes up behind me and grabs a hold of my hand and my elbow. I take a step forward, turn so that I can spot my partner, and side kick into the kneecap and drop down. And I begin here by rotating this hand about an axis point that's centred within the forearm. So my axis point is here, take a hold of his wrist, hand up onto the back of the elbow joint, put him round into this position so he's off balance, rotate the hand and apply the lock. Okay, this time we'll do it a little bit quicker. So I'm walking, my partner grabs my arm, I thumb, kick, rotate over, and into position. Okay, same thing, Kata Udidori, but obviously to the opposite side. So again, I'm walking, my partner grabs me, thumb, kick, rotate, take the lock, and apply the lock. Okay, number 5, Shiro Iridori. So this time, my partner takes a hold of me by the rear collar. I take a step forward, I turn in towards them, and as I do, because I'm turning, it brings them off balance, okay, which is important. So I take a step, I turn, and bring my opposite hand up to trap his hand onto me. At the same time, I'm using the side of my head to lock this in place. Strike him, into the solar plexus, which makes his body turn in. Immediately bring the hand over the top and just allow it, the weight of your body and the sinking of your hips, to apply the arm lock. Pull the hand off and using the inside of your forearm against the inside of the crook of his elbow, rotate his elbow in and apply the lock again by cutting this wrist right the way down through his centre line. So here, pulling this up and applying the lock. Okay, this time, same technique, Ushiro Iridori, but done obviously to the opposite side. So once again, my partner takes a hold of my collar from the opposite way. I take a step forward, I turn around to face my partner, bringing my opposite hand up, using the side of my head and my hand, trap his hand onto my shoulder, step forward, strike into the sternum. The hand comes up over again, weight down, rotate in and apply the lock. Right, this time Ushiro Jimi. So what's going to happen? Again, my partner puts his hand around my neck as if to effect a Hidaka Jimi. Immediately, I'll look into the crook of the elbow, take hold with both hands, draw down on this so that I've got a space to be able to breathe that doesn't apply the strangle right away. At the same time, I'm going to step out to the side and rotate my whole body in towards him. At the same time, release with this hand and strike. So I'm striking up into his groin. Immediately after that, I put my hand back onto the back of his wrist in order to keep it trapped there. And I rotate out. So this hand never moves once it's in that position. I pull it off, force this down towards his head. Again, this L section between my thumb and forefinger is applied to the back of the tricep tendon. Take a tight hold, take a step back and pull my partner down onto his front. Rotate the shoulder all the way up so his wrist is now sitting directly above his shoulder. Place my knee into the back of the shoulder and the back of his hand into my sternum in order to apply the lock. Okay, same technique again, Ushiro Jimi, done from the opposite side. So my partner comes up, strangles me. As he does, pull on his elbow to make some space, look into the V, step, turn, strike. Hand goes onto the back of the wrist again, inside, rotate up, force his hand down towards his head. Again, this elbow, this part of your hand onto the back of the tricep tendon, pull, turn, and keep the wrist above the shoulder joint, knee into the back of the shoulder, back of the hand into the sternum, apply the lock. Okay, technique number 7, Kakai Dori. So what's going to happen? I'm standing here, my partner comes up, wraps both his arms around me, so he's got me trapped in a bear hug. As he squeezes me nice and tight, before he gets a full tight grip, I've got to stand on one of his feet, thrust my head back in towards his face, and at the same time I'm going to bring my right hand up because his right hand is on the top, so whatever hand is on the top is the direction he's thrown. So in this case his right hand's on the top. I bring my right hand up and knuckle in between the last two fingers. My left hand comes up and using my thumb, push down inside and then wrap around the bottom of his wrist, pushing it out and into the lock. From here, I'm going to step to the side, now where my hand lands on the back of his elbow, I'm just going to bring it up and take a hold of his wrist. Put my knee down and against the back of his ear here, in that point. Get it in there. And my other knee against the side of his ribs. Pull this arm across my kneecap in order to apply the arm lock. Okay, same technique again, number 7, Kakai Dori, from the opposite side this time, so my partner takes a grip around me. This time he's got the opposite hand on top. So exactly the same detail, strike back with the head, knuckle into the back of the hand, thumb down against the forefinger, rotate out into position for Seoinage. Drop, throw them with the Seoinage, rotate the hand around onto the back of the arm, so the elbow is facing me, kneel onto the side of the head, and then onto the side of the body, applying the lock against the patella joint.